This video is about me being nervous when my daughter decided to go join the military. My firstborn and first to leave the house. I knew that she could do it as a girl. My mom was in the Navy and had gone through boot camp, so I knew that my daughter could do it. I was nervous because she was a girl, and my daughter joined the Air Force early this year, and she's stationed overseas now, and she's loving it. She's an airman. She's loving being an airman, and she's doing really well. She's loving being overseas. However, when she joined, she was 18, going on 19. The year prior, last year, I had seen a documentary about basically like sexual assault in the military. There had been some hoopla in the news, stories coming out in different branches of the military of reports of sexual assault. And there was controversy about it not being addressed by the military and maybe trying to be covered up a little bit or whatever. Of course, this was a worry for me with my daughter going in. It was one of the first things I thought of. Besides the fact that, I mean, a lot of people make the decision to go into the military as a jump in their career or for the benefits, not expecting to see, you know, wartime and things like that, depending on their job or the branch they're in. However, I told my daughter, because my parents were in the military, no matter what your job, I think that when you sign up for the military, you are signing up to lay your life on the line if need be. If wartime or something like that comes up when you're in the military, no matter what your job is, part of becoming a military member is that you have agreed to be trained and be prepared to do that if necessary. Not meaning that everyone will have to in that situation, but it's real, you know, it's the military. So, and that's what our military is there for. My daughter was accepting of that. She really wanted to do this. It was something that she thought about for a long time. She knew young people who had tried to get into the military, and someone who did get into the military. She'd seen the process herself of someone close to her going through it. So she'd really considered it, and she really wanted to go. And I didn't want to discourage her, and it's not that I didn't believe in her, but as a mom, I was worried. So I think it really came down to about two things for me that made me feel more comfortable and less scared. My daughter went into the Air Force, and during that year of controversy, as far as I know, the Air Force was the only branch of the military that did address the complaints that were coming in about incidents happening to girls and to men. It does actually happen to men too. And not only did they address it and acknowledge that the reports had happened, they completely implemented a program to address the problem. I can't tell you all of the details because I haven't researched it that much in depth, but they have entirely structured. They added a week onto boot camp, for one, to make the Air Force basic military training is what they call boot camp. For one, the extra week was to make it more intensive training than they used to have. They also added entire blocks of time dedicated to training the airmen. Basically training the airmen on sexual assault and it happening in the military and the system that they've implemented and the rules. But they set up, there's particular people in the military available to trainees and to servicemen all the time now, so if something like that happens, they can go directly to a person who's there for that reason. And they have systems set up basically so that people are safer and that kind of environment is not conducive. Air Force, like, kudos to them. They acknowledged it and they did something about it. And so not only am I proud now, I'm going to say that as a mom. So not only am I proud now that my daughter is an airman, that makes me more proud of the Air Force as a branch of our military in particular for doing the right thing and taking it on and trying to solve that, because it's a serious issue. This is a serious life-affecting issue for a lot of people, or I should say for some people. Second thing that really made me feel better, and maybe it's just me, But for some reason, when I saw it, and I haven't watched it recently, but I'm going to post this link down in the bottom of the video so you can go and watch it. I watched this documentary. It's a PBS documentary on women in the military. It's called Makers, Women in the Military, I think. Like I said, I'll post the link down below. And so it's kind of the general history of women in the military in the U.S. From the beginning till like now. And it was really great. Seeing the documentary overall gave me a deeper appreciation for women in particular who want to be in the military and who did it, and what it means to them and their experience there. And what a great movement that's been over all these decades. There was a female who was higher up ranking in the military who was speaking about incidents of assault and reporting it, and she's such a strong female. And the other thing that really stuck out in my memory about the movie, which doesn't really speak to the fact about like sexual assault in the military, but the one point that really stuck out for me in the movie was that women in frontline combat was not allowed. I believe it is now in some branches, but still very controversial. But a few decades ago, what happened was some of our military was deployed down south. I don't remember if it was in like Cuba or Haiti. Sorry, I know I'm messing up the details here, but their government was in a bit of turmoil, and they were expecting our military there to basically help their government. But when our troops landed there, all this chaos broke out and basically kind of turned into a war zone real quick, with rioting and whatnot on the streets. And it just so happened that the troops they had sent down there were in command by a female. And there was no time when the situation broke out for her to get permission for orders. She made some decisions on the ground and leading everyone, and ended up in combat in a frontline situation, which she did excellently. And the whole situation came out from her action and her decisions and taking control of everything. How she handled the whole situation was what pushed the question farther about allowing women to be commanding in the military and to be in the front lines, because she accidentally ended up being there, and she did a great job. I haven't done research on kind of the whole controversy and what the status is now in the military overall and the Air Force. As far as my daughter and all of the people that she's gone through boot camp with, none of them have had any kind of experiences like that, and it seems like the system that's implemented now has been a real backup for her experience anyways, and everyone that she knows so far. Good job, Air Force, on confronting that and implementing a system, and hopefully the other branches of the military follow suit if they're not already. I'll link the PBS movie about women in the military. And sorry I don't have all the details about the movie, because it's been a while since I've watched it, so I don't remember exactly what it was. I just know that after I saw that movie, I literally felt a lot more secure about my daughter going into the military as a female. And that wasn't the purpose of the movie. That wasn't the focus of PBS when they made the movie. It just had that effect on me. And so, yeah, check it out if you have a female that you know that's going into the military and you're worried a little bit. Check out that movie. And yeah, it doesn't hurt. Ask your recruiter and ask the military the things that you're concerned about. Ask them outright. The next video I'm going to try to make about my daughter going into the military is kind of a story on her time in boot camp, and us sharing that experience, which was a really big experience for her, obviously. I mean, boot camp is designed to make you become something in specific, and she definitely did that, and she's very proud of it, and I'm very proud of her. But it was a big experience for me also as a parent, having her go through boot camp and become a military personnel. And so I would like to share a bit of that story because it's a really great story. So that will be the next one.